Hard-boiled Haggerty in the ring now.
Today is the heyday of the pretty boy. Kowalski is called killer for blocking Gene Stanley of Chicago.
She likes it. Oh, boy, that can hurt.
Right here at ringside while we go in for a riot of roughhouse that's flatly called wrestling.
I first got involved in wrestling when I met Cuban assassin Fidel Sierra. He introduced me to the sport and the managing aspect of it, and my first time I managed him was at the world famous Sportatorium 106 North Albany, and it was an amazing experience. It was nerve-wracking, it was scary, it was totally different for me because I wasn't a really outgoing personality, and to overcome that and travel all over the world with him was just really amazing. I actually was born in the Czech Republic and raised in Switzerland, so I did travel a lot prior to that, and I had, my father introduced me to the sport of professional wrestling. So I was, someone from the outside looking in and seeing the different aspect was really, really interesting. He used to watch pro wrestling all the time. And then when we moved to Houston, he more or less dragged me to a live show, and that's all she wrote, basically. I support it. I just, we try to live a healthy lifestyle. We try to, I nag him to go to the gym on a regular basis, and, I feel he really loves professional wrestling. That is his life. And I really feel if that gives him motivation, it gives him the ability to do what he has always loved and share that with the audience and the younger generation, I'm all for that. My style of professional wrestling was very involved because I started out in Puerto Rico, and so the fans there were very violent, basically, very involved. So I tend to move around a lot. I get very intense because a moving, object makes a more difficult target to hit. So, and that kind of stuck with me. Ooh, there is so many of those. When Cuban was with Kurt Hennig, and I had the privilege of managing him in Puerto Rico. But one of the memorable feuds was in WWC with Carlos Colon and Vader, where I got hard punched. That was like 18,000 some fans. They didn't break that record for another 5 years. Carlos Colon gave me the opportunity to come in and manage Fidel Sierra. We had a great time and a great run in WWC. The people there, the fans, are some of the best fans. I've had little old ladies chase me down with the umbrella, hitting me, people throwing stuff, dirty diapers, baby jars. I mean, it is brutal. And my first night in Puerto Rico, I was in Trujillo Alto, and it was a riot. They had to lock us into the dressing room. So it was quite the introduction to the sport of professional wrestling. And one of the most memorable moments too was when we were doing a promo there, and it was one of my first times there, so I was still very kind of quiet and laid back. And I'm standing there next to him looking all intimidated, and he's doing his promo. And on the other side of the camera is Dula the Butcher. And he goes, "Young lady, it's okay to smile." And I was like, okay, thank you. Myself. When he got out of line, or, he just, but yeah, there's a good little story I was managing the Nasty Boys in Puerto Rico, and they were wrestling against the Headhunters. The Nasty Boys, big guys, Headhunters, big guys, and it was an outdoor show. and it started to rain to the point where the rain was just absolutely soaked. So I'm like, well, let's do a dance-off. So you just have to picture the Nasty Boys and the Headhunters. It was quite the event, the four of them in there, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Sherry Martel. She was one of my role models. I loved her. She was always great with me. Her and Luna both. She was just amazing. I always remember one of the things she used to say to me. She goes, you know, Fantasy, good girls go to heaven, but bad girls go wherever the heck they want. And that was Sherry. It keeps the history alive. It recognizes the people that have paved the way, and it is all for a good cause. And it gives us the chance to reconnect with a lot of people and friends that we normally would not get to see. Fidel was one of the most underrated, overlooked, talented wrestlers in the past 30 years.